Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Jerry's Place, where I hope that you feel at home and that you feel comfortable and that the information that I share with you will help you to get further along on your financial journey. Now, I'm not a tax advisor or any type of financial professional, so make sure you DYOR, do your own research and your own due diligence. This is for informational purposes only and just from my own experiences and information that's been shared with me. I want to talk a little bit about a few technical things. I've mentioned before about the Vantage score and the difference between that and FICO. So I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit, maybe a little technical, and a lot of the information may go kind of fast. So feel free to go back into the video in case you miss anything. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment and hit the notification bell so that the same type of information can be shared with others, because this is information that I did not know, but it's information that I found out, so I hope that it helps someone out. First, let's talk about the Vantage score. Vantage was created in 2003, and it was created by all three bureaus, so they all had a hand in this. Now, it does compete with FICO, and Vantage 3.0 is the one that's most commonly used. Now, Experian uses Vantage for all things except for mortgages. So you may see that score out there sometimes, so be aware of that may be the score that you're receiving. The Vantage score is used by most of the credit card issuers that are out there. And it's used by landlords and companies that do education, credit education, and market credit products. You'll see it on Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, NerdWallet, sites like that. They'll have the Vantage score. Now, the FICO score has been in use longer than 2006, of course, and is more widely used by about 90% of the top lenders that are out there. Now, both actually consider payment history, utilization, age, mix of accounts, and how many new accounts that you have. So I'm going to give a little bit of a comparison as to the differences and some of the weight that they have. So FICO has a history, excuse me, your history of accounts weighs about 35%. Your utilization, which is how much you're using of the credit lines you have, weighs about 30%. This is for FICO. Now, the age of accounts is about 15%. The mixture of accounts you have is 10%, and new accounts that you have are 10%. Vantage varies a little bit, with the history having heavier weight at 40%. So that can sometimes be the reason why you may see a Vantage score higher if you have some history on your accounts. Utilization is lower at 20%. So it may not impact as much as it does on FICO. Again, that may explain some of the difference in the scores. Age of accounts is 21%. Excuse me. So history and the age of accounts are also going to give you some, going to pump up your score a little bit. If you have a good payment history and you have accounts that you have for quite a while. Balances are at 11%. So the balances that you carry are weighed in with Vantage. And new accounts account for 5%. Available credit accounts for 3%. So that's a little bit different than what FICO does. Now, for the inquiries, you're going to see a little bit of a difference there. Now, on FICO, the same type of inquiry counts as one for 45 days. 45 days. So, for instance, if you're doing 3 or 4 credit cards, then that's going to count as the same type of inquiry as long as it's within a 45-day period. But on Vantage, all inquiries count as one, but only for 14 days. So whether you're doing a line of credit, a personal loan, a car loan, auto loan, they'll all count as one, but only for 14 days. Now, when it comes to collections, for FICO, the unpaid balances, and paid balances are bad, but only on FICO number 8. FICO has different formats, a lot of them, starting with 2 and going up to what's going to be 10 fairly soon. So unpaid balances, they're not good on FICO, especially if it's FICO 8. But if it's FICO 9, then only the unpaid balances are going to be bad. The paid balances will be fine. FICO excludes medical and it ignores any debts that are less than 100. But for Vantage, they don't count paid or medical accounts at all. And it doesn't ignore accounts that are under $100. Now, for utilization, of course, on FICO, lower ratios are much better, and it looks at that moment. So when you apply, FICO is going to look at that moment you apply and see what your utilization is, and that's going to calculate into your score. Now, Vantage is different. Vantage, of course, they look for 30% or less, which FICO can be a lot lower than that to be better. If you get to Vantage 3.0, and before that, 2, and going back that way, it's a snapshot. So it goes for that moment that you apply. But if it's 4.0 or higher, it's going to look over a period of time. So it's not going to be just a snapshot. It's going to take a whole period of time to see what your utilization is. Now, excuse me, for FICO, the utilization can be different per bureau. Sometimes it requires 6 months it requires that account to be open for 6 months, and you only need one account to report for the utilization to kick in. For Vantage, it's the same for all three. It weighs the same for each bureau, and you only have to have the account for 1 month, and has to be just one account that reports in the last 24 months. Okay? Now, there's no conversion formula that goes from, that can kind of convert from FICO to Vantage, from Vantage to FICO. So it's hard to really do comparisons and say, well, hey, I have a 750 on Vantage. What would my score be on FICO? There's no formula to really calculate that. So in my opinion, the biggest thing that seems to hold the heaviest that you really want to watch out for, although you want to watch out for anything, but the biggest things would be the utilization and the collections. Because certain types of collections stay on certain FICO versions, but unpaid is bad no matter what. Unpaid collections are going to be bad on anything. And also, you want to keep your utilization low. So to me, the main things that will help you out, no matter whether it's Vantage or FICO, is to not have late payments, of course, and unpaid accounts and collections, and also to keep your utilization as low as possible. We talked before about your payment history, which you see what the weights are, 30% for FICO and 40% for Vantage. So the better your payment history, the more that weight is going to carry your scores, because those are the highest on each particular scoring system. So hopefully this will help you out. I know there's a lot of technical information that I went through kind of fast. So hopefully it'll be something that can help you out and kind of give you an idea of what you can do to help to raise your scores. And if you have any comments, please post those. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when other videos come up, you'll get the notification of those. And I hope that this will help you on your financial journey. Thanks so much for stopping in at Jerry's Place. Take care.